Hello everyone and welcome back to the Last Bytes channel. Many of you have been asking for a guide on game rules, Age of Wonders 4 game rules, on how to play multiplayer games with your friends to have a bit more balanced games. So I prepared this list. This list is a combination of game rules from 3 different multiplayer servers I play games on. I will put all of them into the description so you can check them by yourself. As well, worth to mention, two of those Discord channels using their own mods to play multiplayer games, therefore they have a bit less rules than vanilla server. Let's dive into the list. The first rule is a king of rule, it's called a declaration rule. So in order to fight with your opponent, we need to first declare on him. So how it works? For example, let's imagine that those wyverns are our opponent's army, and 30 seconds from the beginning of turn passed, and now there is time we can do hostile actions against them. So in order to declare, I need to move on adjacent hex, click on the unit, so we get this pop-up. When we get this pop-up with another player, all other players cannot move. They're basically stuck waiting on your decision. And when you get the screen with another player, you basically say in Discord or where you have your communication, like, "Hey, I'm declaring on you, so please reinforce." After that, we click a retreat button, and we wait for our opponent to bring like more armies if he has, to cast spells on you, and at the same time, we can also reinforce our main stack. We can bring more stacks, so up to 3 stacks in a combat. And after that, like when everyone is happy with with the fight, defender brought an army, you brought an army, you go into combat. You click one more time and you click manual combat from there. So what happens if like one side is unhappy? Like you see you're definitely losing. After declaration, you cannot run. So that's why we have a second rule in this list. Do not attack players in the first 30 seconds of a turn. Give people time to move before the spam clicking. So that's why when the turn begins, we cannot declare like instantly, because we have it's a turn-based strategy and we have simultaneous turns. So we need to give let our opponents to react first to have their turn before declaration. If they're okay, if they're okay to leave their important heroes units in a dangerous position, it's on them. But only after 30 seconds we can start declaration. Then we reinforce and we have a fight. About strategic spells. Strategic spells can only be cast before the battle after declaration. So what does it mean? Most of the strategic spells in a game, let's switch again back to the game. We have a good example here. For example, Lightning Torrent. As you can see, this Lightning Torrent deals 20 lightning damage. So at some point, you might be fighting in Wonder and defeat the Wonder, but your hero will have 1 HP left. And somebody casts the spell on you and your hero dies. So it's kind of not fun. Basically, he didn't do anything specific. He just waited for right moment when you clear the hard Wonder and he snipes your hero. Not good. So that's why those global spells are banned in in normal use. So you can only use them after the declaration. This goes our second rule. Strategic spells. Strategic spells can only be cast before the battle after declaration. We do not want those cheesy hero sniping. Then we go to our hero rules. Hero rules they're differ from server to server, but a general rule I suggest you to play is a maximum 3 numbers of heroes per combat. So if 3 players fighting from one side, let's just bring them 1 hero each. Otherwise, it will lead to a situation when, especially in team games, when we have 3 players versus 3 players, and it's gonna be 10 heroes against 10 heroes. It's a bit messy, and as we know, hero is a toughest unit in the game. It's basically tier 6 unit with right level and right items, and we don't want like to play Dota in Age of Wonders 4. So that's why we have a limit 3 heroes per side and 3 heroes per other side maximum. There are ways to like to break this rule. So there is a spell from tier 5 Chaos Tome that allows you to summon your ruler if your ruler not in combat. In that case, we can have 4 heroes, and that's allowed. Why it's allowed? Because tier 5 Chaos Tome is kind of the weakest one of all of them. It's a tier 5 spell. So, okay, with the tier 5 Chaos Tome, if you want this way, you can bring one more hero to the combat. It's gonna be your ruler. So, in that case, you initiate a fight with 3 normal heroes, and then you cast a spell and you summon your ruler into combat. In that case, you will have 4 heroes into combat, and it's fine. And one more way to obey this, like to go against this rule, is Throne of Mirrors. Throne of Mirrors is a defending building. You can build in your cities, and in case your ruler is not participating in a fight, he will be like summoned at the beginning of a combat. So with those Avatar of Chaos, we can summon it anywhere. With Throne of Mirrors, we can summon it in. We can have a force hero in our domain. So it's okay. It's the only way to have more than 3 heroes into combat. As well, if you playing with defined heroes in game, let me show you how it works. Okay, we need this creature. We'll go there a bit later. There was a new feature added to the game when we can define heroes before the combat. You can do it in Finalize tab. We click Advanced Settings, and here we have heroes which we can configure. And for those heroes, we can choose like basically everything, and as well we can choose their governor. And if you're playing with the setting on, you can choose Scholar Governor as your hero. Why? Because it's basically the strongest governor in the game. Like nothing else can compete with it. It's a church post, grants +5 knowledge. It's already a lot. So if you're playing like with defined heroes, do not use this one, and this one is usually banned. If we get it Scholar Governor by default, like from a random city state, we can hire it, because which makes Scholar Government is really strong is because we can pick any ambition we want, which we can easily complete, and we can activate Scholar Governor, and it will give like you a lot of knowledge. Like Renown level 4 gives +10 more knowledge, +10% more knowledge income. It's huge. Combining with Renown level 1 and Renown level 3, it's gonna be a lot. So Scholarly Governor banned, with predefined heroes. If you don't wanna use this ban, now there is setting in a game when we create a world. I will go to advanced settings, and yes, and the setting. So if we switch the setting off, it means our heroes will be random in a tavern. In that case, this rule is not applied. So if you're playing with the setting on, where we recruit our faction heroes, please ban Scholarly Governor as like by far the strongest one of all of them. Okay, moving on. Again, about heroes. Maximum 3 heroes per combat, no Scholar Governors, on predefined heroes. And one more rule for heroes, Infecting Infusion is banned. You still can use Infecting Infusion if you get this weapon from a random loot, but we cannot use it. We cannot craft it by ourselves. Let me show you. There's gonna be a small guide on how to cheat in single player game. We click Ctrl-Alt-T, and then we have this cheat. And for, oops, I didn't switch. We click Ctrl-Alt-C, we get this cheat pop-up. And here we can get, we need Porch, so there is a cheat Porch Master, which unlocks everything. Here we start crafting a weapon, and there is Palletitive infection, which requires 2 white stone, which is also banned as infecting. It's considered infection again. This one is banned, and infecting is banned. Why infecting is banned? Because it requires only Archon blood. It's very easy to get, and it brings the highest value of all of them. So what it does, when you kill a unit with a hero, which happens quite often, heroes are powerful in this game, the corpse of the unit is destroyed and you get a zombie on top of it. So it leads basically to your heroes killing like units, making zombies, and your opponent cannot revive his units if he has a revive because their corpses were destroyed with infecting, which is not fun. Basically, if infecting is available, it leads that like all heroes get crafted weapon with infecting, and they basically just kill each other units, and yeah. So don't play with infecting. It's very powerful. It should be reworked, and like, for example, there is evolved mod, and the guys just removed infecting from evolved mod fully. Like you cannot even craft it. So infecting is banned on heroes. Moving on to our number 4, pillaging rules. So we cannot declare in first 30 seconds of combat. The same applies to pillaging, because pillaging is still an aggressive action against a player, but as well, we cannot pillage in last 2 minutes of a turn. Why is that? Last 2 minutes can be changed to last 30 seconds, but why is that? When players finish turn, you can basically wait until this timer, until like last few seconds, and you start pillaging during that like period, the last few seconds. So when everybody finishes their turn, and you were basically trying to abuse the timer on that. It's not fun. The strategy is like not gentleman strategy. So pillaging rules basically tells you not to be a dick. And if you want to pillage, please pillage somewhere in the middle of a turn so other players can react this turn or like at least next turn. So it's basically a gentleman agreement. Do not try to pillage in last seconds of a turn. And moving on to probably the one most interesting point, it's bans. So first point here, trading is banned, fully banned. In FFA games, in team games, we cannot trade. Why? Because the most effective strategy in team games or FFA games are basically few players funnel all their resources into one player. These players get a lot of production, a lot of research, it goes to higher technology and basically wins the game. Not fun. We tried it, we played without this rule at the release for a few months, and everyone was happy when we added it. Trading is completely forbidden in this game. The only exclusion from this rule, you can trade wonders between players. Then we go to form trades. Here goes an interesting part. Let me switch to the game. So right now I have Mount Masters on my unit. Let's go into combat. Here we have a good example. With Mount Masters, my tier 1 Honor Blade has 3 models, tier 3 Paladin has 3 models, tier 2 Wallkeeper has 3 models. So what Mount Masters does, perk, it basically reduces number of your models to 3. So tier 1 Honor Blade should have 6 models by default, and it gets reduced to 3. Tier 3 Paladin has 3 models by default because it's tier 3 unit, and it gets reduced to 3. Tier 2 Wallkeeper has 4 models by default, but because we picked Mountain Master, we have 3 models at the end. It's powerful, especially for tier 1 units, because Mount Masters costs 1 point only, and basically we get an effect of Tenacious. Let's go to faction creation screen.
Your journey starts here. What is your...
Yes, here. Mount Masters cost 1 point, and we basically reduce number of models in tier 1 units by half already, from 6 to 3. And there are similar effects that should work in the same way, but players don't pick it. It's called Tenacious, which costs 2 points. and damage from casualties are halved. So basically, when you have tier 1 unit with 6 models inside and you lose 50% HP, you have only 3 models left. And without Tenacious, you will deal only 50% of damage because you lost half of your models, and your damage based on number of your models. With Tenacious, which is cost 2 points, when you lose 3 units, it counts like you lost 1.5 units. So your other 3 units will be dealing damage as 4.5 units, so 75% efficiency. But on the other hand, we have Mount Masters, which from the beginning reduces tier 1 unit models from 6 to 3. And when we lose 50% HP, we lose only 1 model. So in our total result will be 66% of damage with 2 left models on 50% HP. So basically similar effect on tier 1 units, but it costs less points. And Mountain Masters is okay. 1 point, pick it, enjoy it. The thing is banned. It's form traits flying mounts. Why flying mounts are banned? Let's see it on example. So we pick exactly the same faction. We drop Mount Masters. Let's drop something else. Bulwark, and we pick Griffin Mounts. Doesn't matter. All flying mounts work the same. And what the description say? Gain flying movement, +2 vision range, super strong, and can move in any terrain at movement cost of 5, which is basically each terrain for us, it's a road. So we can move through forest, we can move through chasm, whatever, it's still gonna count as a road. Still super strong. And this description is not full. Why it's not full, I will show you later. And by the way, as you see, flying mounts give us +1 vision, but there is similar trait, it's called Sharp Eyes. It costs 1 point, and it gives us only +1 vision range. So flying mount is basically 2 Sharp Eyes, and it costs only 3 points. Okay, we pick flying mounts, we keep the rest the same. So as we see, we spawned, we have enemies around us. And if I choose this unit, it can move on the road, 8 tiles, 40 divided by 5, it's gonna be 8, and we can move in a jungle, again, 8 tiles. You see, but by default, forest cost 8 movements, but because we're on flying mount, it doesn't matter. We still move 8 tiles away. That's not actually everything. Let's move all our units together and go to manual combat again. So the thing is, flying mounts do not show one very important parameter in their description. It is number of models. As you see, our tier 3 unit has 2 models now. Our tier 1 has 2 models now. Our tier 2 has 2 models now. And here lays the largest problem of flying mounts. They move like on roads. They have 40 movement. They have flying. They ignore like a lot of terrain in combat. As well as they have higher vision, +2. And at the same time, the number of models is reduced to 2. So instead of having 6 models for my tier 1 unit with normal setup, I have only 2 models here. Instead of having 3 models for my tier 3 unit, I have 2 models here. And let me show how powerful it is. Because your damage output depends on number of models you have, when you have 6 models, killing 1 model, it's not a large problem. But when you have 2 models, you see, I got damage, I still have full damage output, because to kill 1 model, to lose 1 model, I need to lose like 50 HP on 1 unit, which is basically huge. And what climb mounts does, they allow you to clear the map like crazy. They do not lose their effectiveness when they lose models, when they lose HP, because they need to lose like 50% HP to lose at least 1 model to lose some effectiveness. Okay, this part I showed you. Alright, let me finish this combat and we will see here. Yeah, let's put auto combat, it's fine. Yeah, doesn't matter. Like I already lost what, more than 30% HP on a paladin. It still has full damage output because none of the models left lost. Same for tier 1 unit. And as we saw, so basically plain mounts give you tenacious, even better than tenacious for tier 1 units, because like from 6 models we jump to 2 models. They give you, for example, this unit can move like, yeah, it's gonna be good on next turn. We are in the forest now. Yeah, this movement has 32 movement descent to 40. In the forest, they can move 1, 2, 3, 4. Why 4? Because, wait, is it a road? 8, 8, 8. One move, one move, one move. Yeah, 8, 16, 24, 32. We moved only 4 tiles. Flying unit, like in the forest, can like go wee. We just basically like have like double movement from against normal unit, which is not cool. So why Valon is banned? They give too much for the too little cost. In order to balance them, if developers make them cost 5 points, so basically you can pick Flying Mount and any nothing else, they will still be balanced. Like you can still pick them because they give you extra vision, they give you extra movement in combat and on tactical map. They give you tenacious by default because you have only 2 models, and they give you 40 movement. So this cost, this perk for 3 points is too overpowered. That's why it's banned. It should cost 5 points, and it will still be like valuable and a very good one. So moving on. Next one, form trait. Flying mounts, yes. Culture, mystic summoning. Finally, devs confirmed that they agree that mystic summoning is overpowered. Not gonna like dive a lot here, but mystic summoning basically banned for a long time already since the rework. It's a culture that gives too much, that doesn't require a lot of investment. So mystic summoning is S plus tier. Nothing can compete with it until turn 40. If you survive till turn 40, then you can at least like have some chance against mystic summoning, but before turn 30, you're basically dead. Mystic summoning is utterly broken, and that's why it's in permaban. Society traits. We have a list here. Keeper of the Knowledge is banned in team games. Let's actually take a look at them. Gain, the biggest issue here, gain plus 10 knowledge income for each empire you have open borders with. This perk is banned for team games. Why? Because when you start a team game, you already have an alliance with all your teammates, and this perk will be working from the beginning, and you will get extra knowledge just for starting a game. Plus, you have like some other perks on top, but the biggest issue here is 10 knowledge for open borders with empires. We usually start with 60 knowledge. With this perk, with like 3 players, we will start with 80, 90 knowledge. No, this one goes to ban for team games. Swift Marchers. One of the new perks was actually introduced with... Oh, I believe it's not Pantheon perk. Okay, but it's still one of the newest one. Forest March inflicts no damage to units. Good, why not? What Force March does, it applies the debuff Exhausted, and it means for 2 turns on global map or in combat, you won't be able to heal yourself. So even if you don't deal your damage to your units with Force March, it's still a quite like Exhausted is a debuff, and we don't want to have it. The issue here, roadwalks. Again, extra movement on tactical map. Instead of 5, we get 4, which is a lot. So if you have a unit with 40 movement speed, instead of 8 tiles on a road, we can move 10 tiles on a road, which is already a huge boost. And we have extra starting bonus, Force March ability. So Force March costs 10 mana per unit, you get Exhausted debuff, and so on. Okay, so this trade, we played for a while with it. It felt quite okay at the beginning, but then we found a few like abuses with it. So there are two cultures that benefit a lot from forced march. First of them is, of course, barbarian. Why barbarian? Because barbarian ability, what is called something alacrity. Let me find it. Ritual of alacrity uh, removes your exhaust debuff. So basically, we activate force march. We go on our outpost. We heal. We remove this exhausted debuff, and we move again. Because exhausted is not an issue for barbarians at all, because of this ritual of alacrity. So on barbarians, it's too huge. We basically move our 40 movement speed army. Then we activate force march, we get 40 movement speed on top. Then we go to our outpost, we lose all the debuffs we got from force march, and we get on 40 hour movement on top from ritual of alacrity. And then we have 120 movement, and we just spent a bit of mana on that. Not cool. Barbarians are very strong with it, so that's why it's banned. One more culture that hugely benefits from it, it's industrious. Why industrious? When we prospect, we have 0 movement speed left. But what we do? We basically use force march on our scout. We don't care about damage, we don't care about exhausted on our scout, but with swift marches, we can prospect 2 provinces per scout. On industrious, which is again broken, gives you a huge boost at the beginning and during the game. So those two cultures are primal culprits why this perk is banned, but later on, good players, skilled ones, start abusing swift marchers on any other cultures, because you don't need to swift march your whole army. You can just like march some units that are reinforcement, your heroes that are slow, and you basically abuse this movement on some units, and you move again faster, double speed. Swift marchers, I don't think it can be like fixed by devs. It's just a single player perk and should be banned for multiplayer like permanently. Other one goes Cult of Personality. Similar trait to Swift Marchers was added probably in the same update, as I remember correctly. Yeah, Cult of Personality. It's a Pantheon perk, so to unlock it, you need to get it in Pantheon. And it's banned for multiplayer too. Why it's banned? Because we start +1 hero cap and 3 hero cap. Doesn't matter. Second part, multiplayer games played without Pantheon heroes. So start with +1 hero cap. What it does, on our first turn, we can hire a second hero. As you know, heroes are the strongest units in the game. They're basically tier 6 unit with right items and right level. So starting with two heroes on turn 1, we level them both up really fast, because we have high clearing potential. What's here basically doesn't matter. There is buff and debuff. Heroes gain extra skill points, so good. Heroes cost 10 gold upkeep, doesn't matter. Basically, we have 2 heroes, we clear them up with 2 heroes, we don't care about army at all. Cult of Personality basically banned again for multiplayer games. In Evolved mod, what Cody did, he's a developer of Evolved mod, he removed this part at all. So heroes still gain extra skill points from their renown level, but you don't get the hero cap. In Evolved, you can play without this ban because this perk was fixed. But in vanilla, no. It basically allows you to speedrun them up, and usually it's not good for balance, because everything else from this list is a bit weaker. Again, moving on. Hermit Kingdom. Again, one more perk that was added during the game development. It wasn't there from the beginning. What it does? Sitting gain 15% knowledge, 15% food, 15% production, and 20 city stability on top of that. There is a debuff coming to that. You cannot place your cities next to each other, so domains shouldn't border with each other. The buff, so the buff is so good. So basically, you just place your cities a bit further away from each other, and you don't care about it. Like 15% and 20 city stability, it's so much that you can basically to pay a bit of attention to this debuff, not to activate it, and get all those things. Again, one more thing, if other players decide to cancel your buff and build an outpost next to a city, they get you get a lot of grievances against them, so then that you can just start a justified war against them and get to 20 Imperium on top. So other players cannot stop you from this perk because they cannot build next to you, they cannot capture your claimed provinces, because they will get a lot of grievances against you, and you're scaling much faster than them, because 15% is huge. There is a similar perk in Empire 3 in Materium Affinity, which is called Metropolitan Society, which is similar to Hermit Kingdom, but instead of 15%, it gives you 10%, and your borders should be next to each other, which is quite the opposite. But the difference is you need 100 Materium Affinity for that, and you need to spend Imperium for that. And you can't get it on turn 1. In like best case scenario, you get it like what on turn 20 only. And other player, which is gonna play Hermit Kingdom, will be having it from turn 1. A lot of knowledge, a lot of food and production. And it synergizes extremely well with what culture? You won't be able to guess, it's high culture. So high culture has a passive in game. When you have neutral alignment, it's between -5 to +5 alignment. You get food and production in all your cities, depending on your city stability. And Hermit Kingdom gives city stability and multiplies your food and production by percentage number. So let me show you. Oh, perfect. We've got a city next to us. So now we have positive alignment. We don't get our buffs. Only from... Wait, did I pick Hermit Kingdom? Let me see first. Yeah, perfect. So what we get? Instead of 60 knowledge at the beginning of the game, we get 69 knowledge. And with 69 knowledge, we picked a Tome without a summon. I mean, the summon's already researched, but instead of 5 turns researching and summon, it will be 4 turns, which is huge deal. So we have extra 9 knowledge at the beginning of the game. It's basically it's 15%. We get 4 production instead of 20, and we get 37. And remember those numbers, 37, 24, 69. Let's just declare war on this. Why did I declare war? To activate my alignment. So we have +10 by default. We do -5. We are in neutral alignment. Remember our numbers? This is turn 1, guys. We already have 50 food and 35 production. And our multiplier went from +3 to +5, because multiplier, again, works on my alignment agenda. So 30 city stability, if I increase it with, I believe there is a building, +5, is anything gives us +10. Let's just use some cheats, production. Research 5, we need 40. For 40, let's do this one. Again, we're out of gold. We get Tavern. So with Tavern, we get to our second stage of order, 40. Multipliers. Alignment agenda gives us +20, and multipliers work again on our alignment agenda. So high is the primal like suspect for banning this perk. I mean, it basically benefits the most, probably. Other cultures benefit from it a lot too. And again, this perk is too OP in multiplayer, especially in FFA games, because other players cannot stop you from getting this buff. If they build an outpost next to you, you get a lot of grievances against them, and they cannot declare war on you at all. Vision of Destiny Astral. Vision of Destiny was added recently. Basically, it allows you to get Lost Wizards by playing the game. So it gets activated by unlocking research tomes. We do it normally. It gets unlocked by clearing wonders, so we basically clear wonders in general. So Vision of Destiny Astral allows you to normally play the game with no downside. Like it is not a quest. It's basically it's telling you, okay, you play the game and you get a cool benefit a bit later, like on turn 35-40, and you can hire Lost Wizards. So those Visions of Destiny, usually you have a quest to complete, and then you get the buff. Vision of Destiny Astral, you don't have a quest to complete, you just get a buff like in a few turns, which is not fun, and you get very strong buff, so it's banned. One more full ban is Spelljammers. They're not fun. In vanilla, they are too strong. They don't allow you to cast global spells, which is fine, but as well, they affect your combats. Let's actually look at them. For Spelljammer, we need a tier 3 city, and at least... now I disabled my buff. Okay, don't do it with Hermit Kingdoms, but I wasn't paying attention. And Spelljammer. This ability, this passive, it's too harsh to fight. You have a double price for combat casting points, and it's basically like you build Spelljammer, you fight under Spelljammer, you win. So Spelljammers in all forms, it's a province improvement or a spell from tier 4 Tome of Severing. It again, spell ward is again Spelljammer. There is a Mage Bane from Eldritch. It's all banned. No Spelljammers in games. Moving on to Eldritch limitations. So for Eldritch, there are 3 rituals that are banned. It's Astral Wisp ritual, which allows you to summon Astral Wisps. It's a Phantasmal ritual and Mass Phantasmal ritual. So why Phantasmal ritual is banned? Because it does a huge HP damage, 15% of their maximum hit points. It's a lot, but not the largest problem. The largest problem is the second effect, lose 2 stat resistances until the end of their next combat. So, Mass Phantasmal ritual, 2 stat resistances, plus let's go to Shadow. We need tier 3 Shadow Tome. Plus Flash Freeze is gonna be -7 status resistances for the whole combat, and you cannot cleanse it. So you have -7 status resistance permanently. Which means you basically, your opponent will have 100% negative roll shots on you. -7 status resistances, it's more than enough. And Eldritch allows you to achieve it very easily. So that's why it's banned. Why Wisp ritual is banned? Let's actually look at the unit Wisp. So Wisp unit is a tier 1 battle mage. The issue with the Wisp is his stats. By default, okay, 45 HP is not much, but by default it has 2 defense and 2 resistances. And don't forget, it's tier 1 battle mage. Let's compare it with some other tier 1 battle mage. Let's take Mystic and we take Arcanist. 45 HP, 0-0. The same damage, 3-3-3. And Wisp already have 45, 2-2. Let's check a tier 3 battle mage, Spellweaver. 75-2. So tier 1 battle mage Wisp already has stats, defensive stats of a tier 3 battle mage, but a bit of less HP. And that's not it. Again, let's choose a Wisp here. Wisp. The other issue is his ability. It applies under resistance 60% chance, which is good. It's a good debuff. It basically buffs its main damage. It has Astral Membrane on top. Melee attacks have 30% chance to be instant, and it has Pass Through, which is okay. And don't forget, it's still tier 1 battle mage. And when we get a perk for 10% damage to our units from a championed tree, or we get summoning culture, which is usually banned, or monarchy culture, 10% from this damage, it will transform into 4-4-4, and it's gonna be 12 damage. And 12 damage is already almost tier 3 battle mage by damage. And the other thing with the Wisp, okay, Yeah, this guy of course doesn't have it because it's usually banned. Let's level him up and get this perk. The other issue with the Wisp, it costs only 45 casting points, no mana, and only your thralls. It means we can summon it on first turn if you pick this ritual. And yeah, we basically have +1 unit from the beginning of the game. +1 unit with stats of not a 1 unit, of not tier 1 unit. So yeah, Wisps are extremely powerful for being tier 1s, and that's why they're banned. And they synergize well again. It's a magic origin unit. And Wisp synergize well with, nope, I didn't pick it here, but with Master Summoner perk. Let me show it to you.
Your journey starts here.
Go to Society Traits. With Mana Channelers, it synergizes well because Magic Origin units gets 20% more experience. By the way, Eldritch Ruler is Magic Origin, and this perk works on him too. And it works on Wisps too, because they're Magic Origin too. And 20% more experience means they get their levels faster, those Astral Wisps. And for each level, they get 10 extra HP. It means the only stat they are liking to be in a tier 3 unit. They have damage of tier 3. They have defensive stats of tier 3. And the only stat they are liking is HP. And HP can be easily mitigated with this plus 20% more experience. So Wisp is a hidden tier 2.5 unit. And you can hire it, you can get it on turn 1 for free basically. That's why it's banned. Moving on. Yeah, we finished. Oh, yes, there is one more Eldritch limitation, and it's a weapon. It's called Relic of Mind, and the issue why it's limited because it does 2 damage. By default, a Relic of Mind has 2 less damage, I believe. Let's actually check it in game. We go Forge Master. And we need Eldritch weapons. Where they are? Yeah, here. Here they don't have a name, but as you see, this one is the issue, the one that deals physical damage. The rest they deal... the damage cannot be reduced. They all... Okay. Yes, I know. Is it the same? Damage cannot... Nope. It's only physical damage. Yeah. So when you choose physical damage, instead of... with magical damage you get 16, but with physical you get a lower base 14. But on the other hand, you get unblockable damage. So you get true damage. So the only difference with a normal weapon is 2 damage. But true damage is much stronger than 2 damage difference. And one more issue is this thing has the same scaling as any other thing here. So at the end, if I make a tier 4 weapon, tier 4 total damage gonna be 28. If I switch to true damage, it's still unblockable damage, it's gonna be 26. So it has the same scaling as any other weapon, but it's basically true damage. And with all Eldritch perks on magic damage and against the base attack and single shot, so you can pick perks that increase like Zeal, its base attack. At the end, you will have like 100 plus more damage, and it means you can one-shot any target because you ignore all its defenses, including your enemy's heroes, and you can one-shot it with range. With range, where is this perk? On +1 range. Oh, I believe it's not available for Eldritch. Good. But as you see, there is 2 damage with 3 with Sensing and Craft, but what it does, your base damage minus 45%. And this weapon only like costs 2 damage, which is a huge difference. Bad example. Yeah, so we have 100 damage, just ignore all defenses, kill all other heroes. That's why Eldritch weapons with physical damage are banned. If you wanna play Eldritch and craft weapon, craft a normal one that does not have ignore all the resistances. There is one more thing left, it's Architect's culture. Architects is a new culture that was added in last DLC, and currently it has infinite scaling. Devs confirmed that they're gonna reward this culture. We don't know when, but probably soon enough with the next DLC and free update. So currently, to not fully ban this culture, we just banned number of monuments you can build, and you can build only one monument, and you can upgrade it to tier 4. You cannot build 4 tier 1 monuments. You can build one monument, and you can upgrade it to maximum. That's it. So let's talk a bit about map settings you can use in your games. I actually left a few here that seems quite balanced to me, and I like playing with them. It's gonna be unearthed. It means underground will be already discovered. You don't need to dig. To play with this perk, you need to ask all members of a lobby if they agree with it, because some players want to start on the ground and actually want to dig. But with this perk, it basically makes underground more valuable. You don't need to spend time digging there, and it actually balances underground with the land, because underground is a bit weaker right now, because you need to spend more time farming on the ground than you need to spend time farming land. So this perk is good to balance in the ground and land. Subdue Umbral Abyss. Again, good perk. But in Umbral Abyss, you can find Tome's Fragment, and from the Tome's Fragment you can get a spell from tier 5 or tier 4 Tome, which can make games unbalanced. So if you're playing without mods, in mods it was changed. You can't get high tier level spells. But if you're playing on vanilla version, probably with this perk, Umbral Abyss, you need to have a gentleman agreement not to use high tier spells you get from Umbral Abyss. Like tier 4, tier 5 spells, do not use them. And as well, we're playing Subdued Umbral Abyss. There is other one, again, that adds Umbral Abyss, but this one will add dwellings, and dwellings are really unbalanced. We played like a few games with them on release, and after that, no more. So Subdued Umbral Balance, it's okay for multiplayer. It can be played with. Toll of Season, hey, it's fun. It's fun event, so why not? Doesn't bring a lot to the table. Legends of Meridia brings a few unbalanced Meridia thingies, but it's fun. So it's okay, it can be played around, so I recommend enabling Legends of Meridia, especially on large maps when you have to have a cool layout and some things to farm. There are some things you don't want to use, like Immortals, High Maintenance, Gigantism, Curse of Death. Again, on Palach server, they play with Lightless, and they play Ultram and Gears with Lightless too, to make your scouts valuable. Otherwise, your units have 3 vision, your scouts have 4 vision, and it's kind of not large difference. But with this perk, your units will have only 1 vision by default. So they will be quite blind, and you will need to use colors. And when I played Torment on Palach mod, actually on my first turn, I was rolling to get the spell, to get enchantment for my scouts so they can see further. So Lightless, it's fun, but yeah, it's fun. You can try it. Those are bad. Unlimited power, again, for single player. Unbound Tomes, I would say it's for single player, mostly. Those are weird a bit. Those are, again, hard one. Intrigues, again, it's a single player thing. Never played with it. Wonders Past. It's adds more wonders to the game, but you don't need more wonders to the game. It basically makes a few faction and cultures unbalanced, so I suggest playing like on normal settings. Mayhem, Hostile Seas, those are too bad for multiplayer. World Seals can be quite fun, like another way to have a victory. But currently, World Seal will give you only 1 ticket point for a victory, and I believe you need 75, and it takes quite a lot of time. To be honest, never seen like World Seal Victory on vanilla. But you can enable it, it's extra farm for your units. And the main real trait, I put unknown trait geography. Why I did that? Because I configured it in this list. Let me move on top. And what I enabled are coast, continents, land, and Pangaea. It means this question mark will be one of them. So when you start a game, you don't know what you get. So you can get Pangaea, you can get land, you can get some water. So it's quite fun and allows players like to get more generic builds to prepare like for different layouts. So, and the same you can do here, unknown traits. But in order to be balanced, you need to scroll down and basically disable unbalanced things that you don't want to see. And that's it. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe, and see you on next video. Bye bye.